Am I about to ruin the interior of my Grenadier by drilling some holes in it? Let me show you what I'm doing. G'day campers, welcome back to 1010 Adventures. And in this video, yes, I am drilling holes into the interior of the cargo area of the Grenadier. The reason I'm doing this is so that I can run some Anderson plugs into the back area, and I want to have them flush mounted into the basically the rear lining of the boot area. But if I get this wrong, it is going to be expensive. So I'm at my mate Ian's place today. We're going to rip into this. Ian is my electrical guru. So big thank you to Ian for helping out with this one. He's been in a couple of videos now, from the Go Fast button from the Prado years ago, drilling holes in the Prado. And surprise, surprise, Ian's quite excited to drill holes in the Grenadier. Anyway, guys, let's get into it. We'll see how we go. Wish me luck. This could be very, very expensive. Okay, so what you can see here, I've taken all of the panels out. We're going to have to remove this bolt, these three bolts, and one just in here as well. So six bolts have got to come out, and then this whole panel should just slide out. And the plan is to mount the relay and the Anderson plugs and the circuit breaker somewhere about here. So let's see how we go. Okay, so we've got all those out, and we've just got a nice little pile of them ready for reuse. To get this part out, just reach in, and a couple of pops, and it should all come out. It sounds like a clip just fell, but we'll sort that out in a sec. Okay, so we've got the back wiring off, or the back cover off. Very important, just when you are doing it, make sure you release this catch. There's a little button at the top here, just that's for the rear cigarette lighter. In models that have the factory inverter, which actually mounts to this bolt here, I believe, I think, but that's the switch for the factory inverter. So if you are putting an aftermarket inverter in to give you inverter power at the back, that's where you'd plug it in, but be mindful that that's really thin cabling, so this is not going to be able to run a 2000 watt inverter. It's only for very low amperage. But there you go. That's the rear cabin area. It's a bit of an effort to pull out, but we got there in the end. So it does pull out directly this way. And that should be all we need to remove from there. Now I've just got to get under this seat and access the factory fused bus bar to run cable up here. And then I'm going to drill some holes probably in this bit here. So I've got this insulated padding here. We're probably going to have to go around that. But that's roughly where I think we're going to be drilling holes. As you can probably tell, I'm super excited about that. Not. It's done. Oh God. I won't say that was painless, but yeah.
It was easy.
So we've actually measured out roughly a center point, which is what we just drilled. We've marked out quite a lot of spaces for measuring up. This is where we are putting the Enerdrive circuit breaker. This is the unit that is going in. So this is a 50 amp circuit breaker. If you are doing this yourself, do recommend getting either Blue Sea or Enerdrive. They're the same, exactly the same. Blue Sea markets as Enerdrive here in Australia. These are probably the best on the market. They're not cheap. This is about $60 plus shipping. So about $70 all told. But this is really the main purpose of this is at 50 amp, this should pop before my 60 amp fuse in the bus bar, because those fuses are really hard to come by in Australia. I'll give you a look at the bus bar now. Alright, so we are double Anderson in. We've just got to wire all this up before we go back to the car. That's going to be nice and clean when not in use. Pop it open. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. Thank you, Ian. That's looking great. And stage one, and that is actually just running that up. That's really clean. I'll just give you guys a shot at the underside of what we've done. So that's come through like so, and we've got this one here. Now we haven't bolted that one in yet. We've got to find some bolts for that. But other than that, that's looking really clean. We're yeah, ready to start doing some wiring, and then we can start reassembling the car again. That's going to be hopefully the easy bit. We'll see. Shouldn't be a problem. This is the fused bus bar, and what I've done, I should say what we've done, this cable here, this is to a 60 amp fuse. Now this is spare, regardless of what version of Grenadier you've got, that is always spare. There is a secondary bus box, fused bus bar under here. We're not using that. So this one here, this whole unit is wired directly to the battery. So we've run this cable, you can see this is running all the way underneath, coming down, hopefully I can get this on camera, it's coming in through here, under the panel here, and that's going to feed out through underneath here, and up into here, and we're going to just get rid of our cable in a second. That's going to mount to the other side of our circuit breaker. And then we can reconnect everything, bolt everything back in, reassemble the car, then we can test if we've got power after I reconnect the battery. And hope like hell I haven't busted my airbags again. Let's see how we go. Okay, so everything's fully reassembled. I've got to put my drawers back in. And then I've got some KAON gear going in. I'm putting in the cargo barrier and the rooftop shelf, which I'm going to do probably tomorrow morning. And then I've got one other thing going in, this right here. So no fridges yet, but we're partway there. So I'll probably mount all that up tomorrow. But this is all working. We've tested the oven on the Anderson plugs. So this is this is where the Anderson plugs are sitting. It's all looking pretty nice, pretty neat. And thank you, Ian. Yeah, I've got to say a huge thank you to Ian for his help today. He's going to hate me when I have to change anything. But I'm assuming, do you want to be on camera? This is Ian. So probably at some point in the future, I'm probably looking at doing a rig rundown type of segment on the channel. Let me know down below if you're interested in that, because Ian's Prado is, well, it puts my old Prado to shame with the work he's done. So it'll be good to do a bit of a rundown on that one.
It'll need a wash first.
No, they're better when they're dirty. But other than that, guys, that's it for this part of it. I'll probably continue on tomorrow. Again, huge thank you to Ian for all the help today. I'm going to go home and put the drawers back in. Nah, it's only 4 screws. It's actually really, really easy. So that's that for that one. I'll see you guys on the other side when I go and put the KAON gear in. Okay, so it's day 2, and unfortunately the weather has taken a bit of a nasty turn. So while I can't fit my car in my garage, I've tried to back it up as much as I can, just so I can complete what I'm doing without rain bucketing down on my head. So this is going to be a bit of an interesting one. Light is not going to be great, so I hope this video does come out reasonably clearly. So the first thing that I need to do today is put back in the front runner rear drawer assembly. The reason I need to do that now is that when I do the second stage of this, which is going to be the KAON cargo barrier and roof shelf, it's going to make it much more difficult to install the drawer system back in. Not impossible, just slightly more difficult. So I'm not going to do a full install of this. I don't think you guys need to see that. I'm just going to do a couple of quick shots, anything that I notice while I'm doing this, and I'll bring that out as I go. The KAON install, I did a full install of it in the Prado. It's a pretty basic job. I believe in the Grenadier it's going to be even easier. So I'm going to get into that, and we'll come back in a minute, because the hardest thing that I'm going to have to do is going to be installing this to the KAON shelf. And I've got to work out how I'm going to manage that. I don't know whether this is going to be easier to install before the shelf goes in, probably. But I'm going to have the same issue. It's not a super heavy unit, but it is heavy enough that either trying to hold it and mount it to the shelf in the car, or mounting it out of the car and try to put the shelf in after, both are going to be a little bit challenging. I might need to get Carl to come and give me a hand, but we'll see how we go. And I'll talk more about this this KickAss travel oven a little bit later, but so far, pretty impressed. Anyway, let's get some boxes open and get into reassembling my rear setup. Okay, that's the shelf in. Now let's get the KAON stuff unpacked. I've got to work out, well, I'm going to have to read some instructions and then hope that I don't completely and utterly stuff this up, which is, it's a 1010 Adventures video, always a possibility. See you in a sec. Just as I get these units unpacked, the one thing I did want to say, I actually got these through Roof Racks Galore in Epping. I just want to give a huge shout out to Les and the team down there. They've been absolutely fantastic to deal with. I've been dealing with that particular outlet for a number of years. They're brilliant, and Les is great. He's great for a chat, knows his stuff. So Les, thank you again. I know you're actually following along now, so Les, thank you for all your help. Let's go and get this in. But if you are after roof rack accessories, KAON gear, get on board with Roof Racks Galore. They're not a sponsor. I just really like the way they work. And the beauty of going through them rather than KAON direct, same price, no shipping if you choose to pick up from your nearest outlet. So that's a bonus. Anyway, thanks again, Les. Let's get this installed, show you what it looks like. Okay, so part one of this is to install the roof shelf first, not the cargo barrier. So KAON do have a set way of doing things, and when you read their instructions, it actually tells you which one to go for first. Roof shelf it is. The one that I'm arguably more concerned about. Anyway, let's get going. Okay, so one of the first things we're going to need to do is remove these panels. So I'm going to need a couple of things. I'm going to need my trim removal tools and a torque set, but pretty straightforward. I know I said I wasn't going to make this an install video, but there is a bit of a challenge with this. These are the brackets. This one will sit on this side of the vehicle. The instructions aren't really clear. It talks about if you're mounting the factory bracket or factory, so if you're mounting with the factory cargo barrier, and then it says if you're mounting with the molly panels, you need to use these spacers. But you actually need to use them regardless, and it's not really clear. KAON could do a bit of a better job with their instructions, in my opinion, on this particular product. They've been good in the past, but this is just a bit... I'm not thrilled with it. But anyway, let's get this one in. All right, that's the shelf in. I haven't tightened all the nuts holding this in place, so it's still a little rattly, but once you're in, you're in. Not quite as easy a fit as I thought. The shelf is actually wider than the doors, so if adjusting it in takes a little bit of gymnastics, just a teeny bit. Otherwise, looks good. Next step, cargo barrier, then I'll tighten everything up. I've got to tell you, I'm absolutely knackered after that. If you've ever installed KAON cargo barriers before, my personal opinion is their instructions need a little bit of work. There's, if you're doing this, then do this, which looks like you don't need to do the next step, or the part isn't included. And then confusing, if you're using the seat forward or the seat back, then use this different length, but it doesn't tell you which orientation the cargo barrier actually needs to sit. So I've just spent probably 20 minutes trying to get the brackets to fit until I realised that the cargo barrier was actually sitting the wrong way around. So it's got a right angle edge. That right angle edge actually goes into the body of the car, not facing out into the boot. That may seem intuitive to you. It seemed kind of counterintuitive to me, and this is the second one of these I've installed, and I'm having flashbacks to when I did it in the Prado and realising I got it wrong then too, again because the instructions weren't clear on which way it needs to be facing. So let me know in the comments below if you've installed the KAON gear before. Let me know how you went. Did you find it dead easy and I'm just a whinging idiot, or am I right? Are their instructions just not really clear? And in fact, I'm just going to give you a quick example, and I hope this comes out on camera. But this bit here, the hand's in the way of the bracket, so it doesn't even show you which orientation and the way it's supposed to be. So look, KAON's a great company, a great Australian company, and I'm proud to support Australian made. But yeah, that was more challenging for my tiny brain than it probably should have been. Anyway, guys, my next mission was going to be to install the oven. I'm not actually going to do that today, partly because I've got to finish editing this video to get it to you tonight, which gives me about 3 hours. So I've got to finish editing this video. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next video, which, if we're lucky, will include some snow, just because I'm a glutton for punishment. Oven's in. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.